All right. Okay, so we're going to begin today again with pumping. For now, it's kind of like winter cleaning. We're inside a lot more. We're not getting fresh air, but we're also not getting the ions. Oh, that's a good idea. We're also not getting enough negative ions as well. So working deeper pump breaths before we begin is just a really good way of charging ourselves and charging the energy that we're working with as well. We want to make sure that our field is healthy. When your field is not healthy, when your system's not healthy, how would I say this? So first of all, I just want to explain that under the current of your skin, under the fascia, is a type of energy that runs that we call protective Qi or guardian Qi in Qi Gong. This has a lot to do with your field. I'm not going to get into how a field is made right now, but one aspect of our field comes from these currents. And when we're healthy, especially when the heart is healthy, our field can literally come out to about 10 feet in circumference. And it goes under the ground as well. When you're on a natural ground, it can really absorb under there too. And ionization has a lot to do with how we maneuver with Qi as well. You want your field to be wider because viruses and things like that, in my opinion and in the opinion of others, maybe not the medical board who has no idea about this kind of thing, but when it starts trying to penetrate through your field, this can either make different viruses just kind of, veer in different ways, or can keep them from literally affecting your body. Your field is your program. Most of it comes from your unconscious mind, but it doesn't have to. We have the ability to influence our field. We influence our field through our emotions, and we influence our field by our thought patterns as well. How the frequency of your field is flowing, if it's pulsing, if it's jagged, if it's, there's going to be a different energetic geometry as well as to how energy is moving in and out of your field as well. So again, I focus a lot in the geometry of this, and this is why angles are very important. So we want to make sure that while we're breathing, that we're keeping the chest open, that we're not letting the shoulders slump forward. So in acupuncture, we have meridians, and so lung 1 and lung 2 are areas that I like to focus a lot on because we really want to make sure that the shoulders aren't rolling down and putting pressure into lung 1 and lung 2. Plus, we have these cavities here as well where we store energy. As we move through the class, we're going to talk about storing energy as well today. Since we're doing spring cleaning, so we're cleaning out the congestion of winter, then we're also going to explore how we can store energy in the body, how we can explore, charge and store energy in the cells as well. Your abdomen, I'll get into it later, but your abdomen is literally a battery because of the layers of fascia and muscle that are in there. They're poor conductors, good conductors. Your body is a capacitor. And so how we move electromagnetism through our body is going to then help direct how other energy is moving through your body. I like to begin all of this with the pump system first, because when we get the oxygen and the circulation moving, circulation increases energy. And so to understand thermodynamics is to understand that cold is when the molecules themselves are barely moving, and heat is when your molecules are active. They're like, and that creates more energy. So I'm not saying one is bad and one is good, because both are extremely necessary, and we practice a lot of this in Qi Gong as well. So what we're going to start with today is alternative nostril breathing, but we're going to do a pump with it. So we're going to use a nice squatting movement. In Qi Gong, we do a lot of squats. You're going to notice that your quadriceps in the beginning are going to be raw. Okay, and this is because, again, in Qi Gong society, we view the quadriceps as the second heart. They're responsible for pulling the blood up from the feet, from pumping up. When the quadriceps are strong but relaxed, that takes a lot of effort off the heart so that the heart can remain strong and relaxed as well. So we're going to start with, I'm sure all of you have done alternative nostril breathing here before, okay? And so what we're going to do is we're going to begin just pinching off one of the natties, one of the nostrils. But you want to make sure, and you can switch back and forth. What you want to pay attention to are your shoulders, and you want to make sure that you're not holding this arm tightly. So you're not like, you know, doing this. You want it relaxed, and you want to keep the elbow in so that you're not stressing the neck with it. And when the arm gets tired, just switch. We're not going into holding stances at the moment, so there's no need to work through that kind of willpower. Just switch the arms as soon as one arm starts to get tired, because we don't want to bring stress into the body. We're trying to alleviate stress from the body. So we're going to begin first just taking one of your hands and placing them over the lower dantian, just below the navel. And then the other hand is going to pinch the nose, the nasal closed. And then we're going to breathe out, and as you breathe out, of course, suck the belly in and up. And then you're going to go down so that you're squeezing. Then we're going to push into the ground, coming up nice and slow. Let your core swell. Push into your heels, and it's kind of like taking a drink. Going to come right back. And then come back, and then sorry, from there, then you switch as you come back down. So I'm going to go down. You're going to breathe it out. Let it relax. Come back up. Push into the ground as you roll up your spine. Push into your feet, into your heels. And you want to get this rotation here through your rib cage. You want to feel that rib cage rotating. You don't want to just arch back. You want to get that rotating. When you're going back like this, you also want to try to lift up through here so that you can feel that you're opening through the sternum. Obviously, work within your parameters, but this is where you're going. So just take your time, and even if you don't go all the way back, just make sure you're pushing into the ground, allowing the sternum to open, and then going back down, contracting the belly. Okay, so we'll just go into a flow with it. In order to keep your throat from getting dry when you're doing breathing exercises, you also want to make sure that you're keeping the tip of the tongue connected to the root of the palate. You can begin this on the chair if you want. This will probably do you a lot better actually if you start on the chair. And that'll open your back so that your legs can relax. Make sure to keep your feet straight when you're working and keep them in close to each other. This can always be done in a chair as well. A lot of these exercises can be done in chairs if people are having a hard time at first, and then you're building strength. So what's happening is as you're coming up, though, you're pushing your feet into the ground, and as you're going down, you're slowly releasing a push into the ground as though you're absorbing through your legs, nice and slow. Go down and then come up like that while you're sitting on the chair. Okay. Anyone, yeah, and still doing this. Anyone who's watching this as well, I like to make sure that they understand that they can do alternatives as well. So you're breathing out when you go down because you're decompressing and your belly's pulling in and up. And then you're pushing into the ground to come back up, breathing in. Sorry? Yes, breathing in on the way up. So breathing out, breathing in. And sometimes this can get confusing. If you ever get confused, like in your own practice, you might go, shit, what am I supposed to do here again? Am I supposed to breathe in or breathe out here? If you're going down, you're exerting and you're squeezing, so to say, the sponge. And so when you're going down, that's when you want to make sure you're exhaling most of the time. And then inhale to push into the ground to come up as well. And that's going to give you that deeper breath. You can feel that by pushing into the ground, you're opening your body more. And then when you sink into the ground, you're helping it to squeeze out. And you just want to go from nostril to nostril. You can even switch hands each time if you like as well. Okay, last one coming up, and then relax. Draw the shoulders back. And we're going to push into the ground, breathing in, bringing the arms up. Press. Breathe out, bringing it back down. And you want to reach through the movement so that you're reaching out of the sides here as you come down. And then we're going to tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin slightly. And then breathe in, raise the tailbone, raise the chin. Belly swells, core swells. Breathing out, coming down nice and slow, belly contracts. Tucking the tailbone gently. Try to draw the shoulders back with it. And then breathe in. So you're going to come up, press. And breathe out, bring it down. And you're moving the chin with it gently. Working the chin pump, pumping cerebral fluid. Once you come down here, you also want to try to reach toward the ground. So you're pressing the hands together. And you don't have to press hard. Get them to touch, but then try to lengthen, try to stretch it down towards the ground. Then you just push into the ground, coming back up. And sink gently into the ground as you come back down. And again, what you want to avoid is turning the palms out first and coming up, because you don't want to destroy your rotator cuff. So you want to make sure that the arms are rotating naturally through the reach and through pushing into the ground. Okay, then we'll bring the arms down to the sides of the body. Gonna breathe in, pushing into the ground as you come up. Stretch the fingers, try to lengthen and stretch the joints themselves, and then let them retract as it comes back. Coming back down nice and slow. Gonna push the hips forward. Reach back, but reach down as well. And then the hips come back just to neutral. And then push into the ground as you're coming back up again. Again, try to swell your core. Open the fingers, open everything, and then come back down nice and slow. Let it all dissolve. Belly contracts here, reaching back. Then come back to the core, come back to the center. Let your core swell. And what you're doing here is going at the pace of your breath, trying to match the pace of the breath with the movement itself, with the pace of the movement. They're going to kind of meet halfway with each other. Be careful that when you come up also that you don't retain the breath. You don't want to hold the breath. As soon as you get up there, just let it go. Again, make sure the core is pumping with it, with each movement. So as the arms are coming up, the core swells. And as the arms go down, it contracts inward toward the spine, but lifting up so that you lift the diaphragm. Okay, we're going to progress a little further now. This is up to you, so you can either just continue doing what you're doing, or you can come up onto the toes. Really stretch your fingers so you don't lose balance, and then come back down nice and slow. Bend the knees just a little bit more with that, but remember to drop your weight back toward the buttocks like you're going to sit in a chair. You don't want to feel pressure in here. And we'll do one more. And then just ground it for a moment. Bring it down. So we're going to breathe in, bringing the arms up. We're going to start working with the field now. So we're going to first just go down so each hand is on either side of the field, not crossing over your center line. I'm just going down nice and slow. We're going to come down nice and slow. And if you can, move it along the ground. And then bring it in behind. Tuck the tailbone as you're slowly rolling up. And then you're going to come up. And what you do is just come up as high as you can here. Intention can fill this area. Your mind and your field work together, so you don't have to literally be exact when you're doing like this. Oh my God, I'm making a hole right there. You're not doing that. It just, as you're moving, things are rippling, right? You're just moving through the field and you're influencing it as you move. So you're not going to, if you miss a spot, create a hole in your field or anything like that. Well, they're valid questions. I've had many people, consider all of a sudden, well, I'm not getting into here. It's okay. Just use your intention, draw the mind around the area, and then we come around under the armpits, bringing it up nice and slow, and then around, and then back down. So again, breathing out as you go down and breathing in as you come up. Imagery helps too. As you're working with the field, you can even imagine that you're coming down into a stream, like this is water here. But these are the cool currents of the room. And we're bringing those cool currents of the room up and over through the field. Working with how your field relates to the energy in the room, the thermodynamics of the room, the gases of the room. And then we're going to go down the inside of the legs, up the outside of the legs. Kind of trace the buttocks when you come up like this around the hip, and then so you come up around and then back down. Bring it back up. Just down the front of the legs. Just up the back now. I'm going to give a little extra attention to the legs. Come up and over. Push it down. Do just a few more. Okay, last few. We're going to give a little extra attention to the knees. So as you go over the knees, going to do a couple circles. It's up to you how many circles, 2 to 3, and then down. And then do one more. And bring it up, over, it's making a curve, push into the ground, breathe in, lifting it up again. So it's kind of like taking water and pouring it over the head. Then breathe out from the throat and coming out, doing a little curve. Okay, now we're going to bring it down. Breathe in. Come up as high as the third eye. Then breathe out, push it down. So we're going to do a little added pressure with the exhalation. So as you're coming down, it's like miming, but you're going to grab in here and you're going to really pull it in and up, really lift the diaphragm, really get the breath moving out, and you'll start to feel more energy moving through the arms as you're starting to move, or you should. One more. Now we'll bring it up as high as the heart center. Open a little more with it and then push it back in and down. More than anything, really try to access those belly muscles as much as you can. Okay, a little more accentuation through the elbows now when you breathe in, come up, really open this way now. Try to feel this whole cavity open, and then turn the hands and contract, push it. When you're pushing, even try to like open your knuckles, feel the pressure moving out to the tips of the fingers as well. You want to really get that accentuation through your hands. So we'll just get this part out of the way early, right off the bat. One of the ultimate ways of making your energy really move in Qi Gong is through expression. If there's one thing that I feel anyway, a good Qi Gong teacher will drive home, is how are you expressing your energy? And everyone expresses it differently. It's based on your feelings, first of all. Not just feelings that you're projecting, real feelings. These feelings are based on the relationship between your emotions and your thought patterns and how they relate to your body and your feelings. Your feelings themselves kind of resonate between the thought patterns and the emotions themselves. But feelings can be much deeper because they're derived more in the unconscious mind. But what we want to do is we're tapping into, so to say, archetypal energy. You're tapping into the not the imagination, but the higher levels of the imagination, the imaginal, where you're tapping into archetypes in that, and you're bringing that expression in. But again, it's your expression. It's how you accentuate the energy. It's like your signature, so to say. So even though I'm moving, and I might move in a certain way, I'm showing you the geometry of movement, the proper angling, the proper breathing. But proper expression is completely yours. And this is where you truly make it your own, by how you're bringing the mind into it. You can be very serious at first. You can move through different emotions. You can move through different characters in your mind. Like, it all depends on what it is that you're creating with this energy. Because this energy is your living energy. And you don't want to move through empty movement. And when I say empty movement, I don't mean Fajin, as in empty force. I mean empty movement as in like just mediocre movement. I'm not really into this. I don't see any of that out of you guys, and I'm really glad to see that. I can see expression wanting to come out, actually. And so this is why I want to encourage us right off the bat. Get into whatever expression you feel. In the same exercise, you could move through several different feelings even, and several different expressions of those feelings. But it's important to keep in mind that we don't just get blockages in our body. We get blockages in our emotions, we get blockages in our thought patterns, we get blockages in our paradigms. We create blockages all the time. And so this is how we eradicate. It's kind of like shape-shifting in a way even. And this is also why we work a lot with animal movements. Okay, so we're going to bring it down. Store the energy for a moment. So just going to close the eyes. Hands just facing the lower dantian, so to say, let's just say around the bladder area. And you're just going to breathe, but keep the core pumping while you're breathing, but just calm it down so it's a nice light pump for a moment. Pay attention to the relationship between the palms and the area that they're pointing to. Okay, now we're going to bring the hands down, grounding the palms. We begin this just with one little circle to start, and then breathing in, bringing the hands up. And then you want to rotate the body with it. You want to feel the shoulder rotating with it, coming down nice and slow. And when you come down, now you're scooping, and then coming back up. Again, rotate with it. Come down and scoop. If there is rotator cuff injury or a lot of tension in here, you can work out here as well. What you're working with here more than anything is the relationship between your hip and the shoulder. So you want to feel how when that comes up, it opens through the body rotating with it. Try to be aware of the big toe not lifting off the floor. So when you're coming up like this and you're turning like that, you don't want one of your big toes or balls of the toes to come up. You want to try to keep them planted. Keep the ones a little short today because we're working through some patterns. So we'll come down, ground that hand. Now this hand does one little circle, and then breathe in, bringing it up. Always push into the ground as you're bringing it up, coming through. Keep that push into the ground, and then as you come through, then you sink a little bit. Feel yourself sinking and scooping. And then breathe in, push into the ground gently. And at first you might get some popping and cracking, and then it should quiet down. What you don't want is grinding. And if you're getting any grinding, just get my attention if you can't seem to work around it. Unless you're watching on the video. Then you just gotta kind of work around it. Bring it down. Turn the hands facing up. Gonna breathe in. Bring it around. Gonna bring it over yourself. And back. So this is like, as Dr. Yang said, presenting the apple. I have an apple. So it's just a way, archetype, right? It's just a way to understand what you're doing here as you're expressing, you're presenting, okay? That kind of gives you that idea of what you're doing here like this. And when you're presenting, there's a certain projection with that, okay? And then as you come around, you're easing that. And you're bringing it through and around. So we're working with how the joints themselves work with this. If you want to practice this at home, put a pebble in your hand. So the breathing is just natural. Yeah, well, you can breathe in like this and then come over like that and breathe out, but you want to just keep it natural. You don't want to be breathing hard here. It's just a nice, calm, natural breath. Yeah. Yeah, I'll do it this way so we're not dealing with the mirror effect. So this is really good for the brain, neural activity, and emotions as well. And you're following the curve. You don't want to cut across anything. You'll notice that you won't be able to keep your palm up. Ready for some fun? Okay. Now we're going to do both hands. So you're going to go. This is all brain. This is all getting your brain. Yeah, don't look at me. It's okay, trust me. First time, I don't know anyone who hardly ever gets this. So, yeah, this is all neural now. This is all. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of emotional freedom technique. Crossing, all this kind of stuff. A lot of actual emotional freedom technique comes from Qi Gong. They've actually taken our exercises and added affirmations to them. It's effective, though. It's extremely effective. So what you're doing here is you're just working with that's how the psychology of the body works, with the brain, with the nervous system, with your right and left, because you're helping to merge the neocortex here. That has a lot to do with it. We get into a lot of these tricky movements in Qi Gong as well. You gotta laugh at yourself. It's the only way through it, because if you take it seriously. Okay, so at one point you gotta slow it down, restart. You know, you might get too confused, right? And then you just slow it down and restart. The idea is to formulate what's going on with the right and the left simultaneously. This helps to lead towards being more ambidextrous as well, which is very handy in your life, being ambidextrous. Not handy at all teaching classes, because you forget left and right all the time. Which one's my left? Which one's my right? Okay. But you're just getting a nice flow. You want me to break it down just a little bit? I'll give you one breakdown, okay, and then you play with it from there. So I'm going to go across like this. Once I get to here, this one can start coming out. This has to go overhead, so that allows me to go like this. Now they're moving towards each other, and then away, and then around and in. That allows me to keep going. Now there's no more breaks in the movement now that we're doing both hands. And again, this is done really well with some pebbles in your hands. Unless you're on a nice floor, maybe pick something soft at first, a penny or something. Okay, and then we'll move on from here. So you're going to bring it in. So this is just something to work with. Settle it, bring it back down. And then we're going to work with circular movement. So we're going to start in here. So you're going to start within the area in front of the dantian. Imagine that you just have a little, pot of water that comes up to here, and you've got your hands and you're just stirring that water. So I'm going to move my body with it a little bit, like this. Let the joints move freely with it. Feel how the ankles and the knees and the hips relate to the spine, to the shoulders, to the elbows, and then right out into the hands. Try to keep the hands facing the floor, so try not to turn the hands in any way. And lift the fingers like this. So if you were touching water and you wanted to move along the surface of water, you can't let your hands do this because you'll break the water. But when we open the hands like this, we can move easier along the surface of water, and we can get it to glide across the water. And so this is going to help to open up the hands as well, and how they relate to your energy. With your middle finger, extend it just a little extra. This is the Pericardium Channel. The Gung point runs through the Pericardium Channel. Yeah, you'll have all kinds of energy just starting to burst through, okay? And it can have weird feelings to it too. It can have insect feelings, actually. We call it awakening the insects, where suddenly it might feel like you've got 1,000 ants in your hands, right? Or in your feet or something like that. And that's the Qi awakening, wakening up more. That's blockages being cleared, that's more circulation increasing. That's the relationship between your blood and your nerves starting to come together and be healthier.
This one is the pericardium for the heart?
Yeah, so the pericardium is the coolant system for the heart. Technically, your lungs, your heart, and your pericardium are the same thing. But in the way that your motor is the same thing as all the components in the motor. So you might have all these different components in your motor, but it's still a motor. It's still one thing. And so this is how we view the heart, the lungs, and the pericardium. They're separated from your digestive organs and your elimination organs through the diaphragm. In traditional Chinese medicine, we energetically split the body in two from the diaphragm. So your heart, lung, and pericardium channels even run down your arms. The rest of them run down, I mean, they run all through here and converge in here, but then they go down the legs. Okay, now we're going to get a little higher. We're going to move up. So we're going to move along the heart meridian now, or the heart channel, sorry. Just coming up, heart center. Try to work on that plane. Try to reach as you're moving. And again, this is where expression's going to come in. And we can get nice and wide with it, reaching right out. But as you go out, if you are going to go out, the weight needs to drop into the leg that you're moving toward, and your other leg you need to extend out like an anchor so that you can come out like this. So if I can, Glo, do you mind if I use your, okay, you can come up here for a second. So just pull me, okay? Like pull me, okay? So you see how easy it is to pull me, okay? Because as soon as I come across like this, do it again, I'm out of my center. But I can stay in my center through see, pull it, and then using my breath. So there's a much difference of pull and what you have to give in order to do that, because I'm more anchored like this. And you want your energy doing that, because if your energy is coming out too far, again, it's going into your knees, it's going into your ankles, and it's causing harm. It's going to throw your hips out. So in Qi Gong, there's a lot of, if you're going left, you're also going right. If you're going up, you're also going down. If you're going down, you're also going up. So you get this idea of yin-yang. That creates your balance. So that if I'm going this way, no matter what, that leg goes out, it gives me my root. And then I don't lose balance, okay? Okay, we're gonna bring it in now. Bring it in tight again. Move the feet with it. A little bit like a dance almost. Get the hips moving with it. We're gonna really work that circulation and how it relates with the spine and the shoulders and the hands. Bring it back down. Turn it now, facing the body. And slow it. Now we're going to concentrate it. So you're going to bring the hands over the dantian. Just relax here for a moment. So you want to make sure that the palms are aligned with each other. So when I say align the Lao Gong points, that's these 2 points here in the hands aligned with each other, like that. And then just relax them. Breathe into your core, then breathe out, contract the belly. Okay, now you're going to see if you can feel the energy of your belly, so to say, moving against your hand without touching your hands. So we're going to access a deeper breath now. So we're going to start going like a really slow breath of fire. Close the eyes, draw your awareness into your hands, and try to see if you can feel the relationship between what's happening with this pump and your hands. Does it increase it? Make sure that the Lao Gong points stay aligned with each other as much as you can. You want the acoustics in the hands to be in alignment with each other, I guess is what I'm getting at here too. Okay, ready? Now we're going to turn the hands up. How do the hands feel? First of all, do they suddenly feel more open, almost sweaty? Yeah? Okay, and go like this and feel it. Are they a little damp? Yeah? Good. Okay. Look at them. Do they look perforated? Perforated meaning you can see red and white blotches all over your hands. Good.
I feel it everywhere. I feel sweating.
Yes, and you
Everywhere.
definitely will. I just want to make sure that it's actually emitting as well. We're working with external Qi as well as internal Qi, and so the ability to have Qi projection through your palms and through your hands, you have to be able to feel it first. So there's certain sensations that I want to move you through. One of them is the ability to sweat your hands, just by a few things that we did. And so usually sweaty palms has a lot to do with nervousness, but in this case we're working with our nervous system as well, and we're working with our hormonal system at the same time. The more you become in tune with these flare-ups, the more you'll actually, like you could walk into an area, you could walk into a room and suddenly your hands go and I was like, oh, I'm in the right place. And you just know by the way that your hands ignite. You might be near someone and there's something wrong with them, and suddenly your hands just... And so there's an energetic relationship that's calling here that maybe you need to do a little, work with that person if they're open for that. Their field might already be asking for that, and that could be what's going on as well. So it's a matter of learning to harness first the sensations. That's why we're doing all these little things to get these sensations in, and then we begin cultivating the sensations. And then through cultivating the sensations, the energy itself begins to build more through that. Okay, so now we're going to work tension out of the body through more quicker movements, just relaxed movements. So we're going to push into the ground. We're going to get the arms swinging. And again, this really helps to promote blood flow. Don't come down like this though. You want to keep the head up. See how my arms go back like this and it's opening? I'm getting the sternum to open. So you want to make sure and keep the head up for that. Yeah, try not to bring the head down. So pushing into the ground, breathing in, breathing out. And you're working your belly here. So as you're going up, that's when the core swells. When you're coming down, that's when the core contracts. And again, we're going to start moving into a slower pace of the breath of fire as well. You notice that breath of fire really opened your hands pretty easy. I mean, of course, we did some things to get channels moving, but more and more this happens easier and easier. So right now you're an accordion. A Qi accordion. A Qi accordion. There you go. So as you're coming up, of course, your body is going like this. So your energy is going down into the floor while you're reaching up for the ceiling as well. You want to feel everything open and then lightly contract. So it's like you're pulling an elastic and then letting it go. Pulling an elastic and letting it go. Remember to keep the head up though, because we want to work with the plumb line in this. We're going to start using the sound ha. Ha. So you're going to get a deeper exhalation. We're going to come down. Now we're going to start moving into a deeper squat. What you want to try to keep from happening, though, is this. You don't want this to happen while you're squatting. You want this to remain open. So you're going. So see my body? It's like a ramp going up my back like this, not like this. So you want to make sure that it's open. Next is he. When you say he, you know the Joker smile, try to draw your lips this way. He. You're going to raise it. Height. I'm going to go this way so I'm not throwing my voice at you, everybody. Height. Okay, slow it down now. He. Higher pitch. Now who? Who is going to be? Now we're going to start going slower. A few more who's though. One more. You're going to grab the ears. Going to pull and go like this with your ears. At the same time, force a yawn. So this deals with inner pressure. And if you get a real yawn, that's awesome. Yawns are contagious anyway. We just need one person to just project that yawn out loud and everyone will start yawning. There it is. Okay, now grab the earlobes, shake them. So now we're going to get in some Iron Shirt Qi Gong. Iron Shirt Qi Gong is self-massage. It's a form of really boosting your energy for sure. I'm going to avoid slapping because I'm wearing a mic, okay? But what you want to do is, you may have seen this in the EFT, the butterfly, whatever they call it. We don't have name. I don't have a name for it. But so you're just going to slap like this, and you want to slap in this area here like this. We're working again with the acoustics. So let me just go over just really quickly first, tapping and slapping. When we're tapping and slapping, your hands need to be very relaxed. If any of you have ever worked with a djembe, You don't hit the djembe, you bounce off the djembe. And so you're doing the same thing with your body. You're not hitting yourself. This is probably one of the largest misconceptions in iron shirt, is people walk away going, ow, they just had us hitting ourselves. But no, you're not hitting yourself. You're tapping and you're bouncing off of that, okay? So we're gonna start like this and just lightly tap, but because it still has impact, you're gonna use your breath. So with each impact, it's for women, I can't emphasize enough how much this is. I mean, men can get breast cancer too, but for women it's way, way higher, and the reasons can be slightly different. And so with these lymph nodes here, you want to make sure that you're stimulating those lymph nodes. If it hurts too much to use your palms, you can also use your fingers, or you can oscillate back and forth. You can use your palms, then you can go to your fingers. You can use your palms, and then you can go to your fingers. And you want to get the body bouncing with it so that it's easier. There you go. So you're just kind of going. Okay, now we're going to cross the hands back over, and we're going to get under the rib cage here. So when you do this, the hands go out. You need to give a little bit of space between each one, and when you come in, now for myself, I got really strong bones. I really have to I've been doing this for a very long time. So I really have to hit, okay? Even though I'm bouncing and I'm relaxed, it's gonna be a lot louder. Just in case you're thinking I'm masochistic, I'm not. I just have to hit harder. And it's going like this. Okay, lower ribs now. Keep the hands really relaxed. Some of you might be sensitive on the skin. Slapping your skin in this area might feel a little more sensitive. If it is, just do a little bit lighter, but make sure that you're and you'll only start out sensitive. Within a few slaps, it calms down more and more. Okay, then the bladder. Move the hip into it. So again, if I'm training martially and someone's hitting me with a baseball bat or a staff, I have to step into that. If I don't step into that, I'm getting hurt. I guarantee you I'm getting hurt. So this is what you want to move into it. And you'll notice that it's less sensitive. Also, you're bringing intention in. Bringing intention into it changes everything. Okay, slapping down. So try to stay relaxed during it. Make sure you're not stressing out your shoulders. Keep the head up and just kind of bounce like this with it as you come down. And then the sides. Again, just let it lap lightly. Okay, then we're going to bring the arms up, extend them out, and we're going to start shaking. So don't come up so high that the shoulders are moving towards the ears though. You want to try to get the shoulders to relax, okay? And then just slowly get yourself bouncing. Yep, really get it going. So again, we're doing that spring cleaning, so that's why we're moving into the iron shirt right now. It works so well for your nervous system too. Bring the hands forward like riding a horse. But see how I keep it really relaxed? Bring it down, nice and slow. And then you want to just get the arms to relax completely. Let them go wherever they go while you bounce. Now we're going to start working on getting the shoulders and the rib cage unstuck. So we're going to come up like this. So gorilla movement. Imagine yourself like a gorilla. Big movement. If you can, you bring your fingers up right up to the armpits, and if you can, even do this and then fling it out, bring them in, fling it out. And then bring it back down. And you get a nice shake now. Bring it into the hands. So one thing that you'll start to discover that one of the biggest components of Qi Gong, as you move deeper and deeper into it, is strengthening the fabric of our willpower. That takes a little bit of time to work with. So, but again, in the beginning, like I said, when you feel the need to just break for a moment, do so. And bring the hands up over the heart. Really give them a good shake now. Bring it back down. Now we're going to get everything just shaking. And then just move it along the spine. Just get it all moving. So you're going to shake the shoulders out from side to side. And slow it down, stop. Bring the hands out, just relax. Close the eyes for a moment. And again, now we want to go back into the sensations. Remember that the sensations are also your body's language. And that's what we want to work on here too, is the language. Make sure to breathe with your belly. I don't see anyone breathing up into their chest here. That's great. That's good. Keep breathing with your core. Okay, now we're going to bring the hands out. We're going to come into a stance. So we're going to bend the knees just a little bit. Bring the middle fingers into alignment with each other. And for now, just look at your hands. Keep the middle fingers in alignment with your heart center, and make sure the elbows are relaxed and dropped right now so that you're not building any tension in your neck and your shoulders. Armpits still need to be somewhat open though. You got to have that ventilation. Okay, and if I can just come around and make adjustments. So what you want to avoid doing is leaning. So just go with wherever I push. Sink. There you go. It's going to feel weird. You're going to feel like you're not fully aligned. Tuck the chin. There you go. Yeah, so you want to try to bring your head over your shoulders now. There you go. Good. Okay, so relax through here. There we go. And get your shoulders to drop. And then come into this way. You don't have to stoop so low. Yeah, there you go. And then stay like that. But bring the middle fingers really close to each other. There we go. Good, excellent. You just need a bit of an adjustment right there. Sink just a little bit. There you go. Feel the difference in that? Good. Excellent. Good, it was just a little bit, that's all. Excellent. Okay, now we're going to slowly turn the palms to face each other. Bring them really close to each other. This is going to be a different feeling of energy than the magnetic stuff we were doing. It should feel almost more electric if we've done this right. So just close the eyes, go into it. Try to keep your arms relaxed, keep your hands relaxed. The more you can relax, the more the energy is going to flow. And because of what we did, we worked more with the more electrical components today. And so it's hard to explain what that electrical feeling is, because it obviously doesn't feel like electricity, because it's bioelectricity. It's still electricity, but there are different types of electricity. And so this is bioelectricity. Check your teeth. Do your teeth feel more electric? The jaw. And relax the jaw. Make sure the tip of the tongue is connected to the root of the palate. Okay, and then we're gonna magnetize it now. So now we're just gonna go through. And again, slow it down, bring the hands together and begin pressing. You can come into a bit of a squat. So now if you want to enhance this, so now I've kind of introduced you a little bit to the thermal dynamics of this energy, the electrics of this energy. So if you want to bring more of that into it, then sink. You're through sinking, and then start, remember what I had you, when I had you pump in the belly, doing slow breath of fire. You can enhance it with that as well now. So you can start going, and then the harder you push, the more of the breath of fire you express. Bring that into it. So we're going to work with the transformative energy of the fire, internal fire of course, that heat. Get right in there, express it, enliven the feeling of that passion, whatever the passion is. Passion is individual, and so it has to be something inside of you, whatever it is you're trying to achieve, or something that you're passionate about, something that, in other words, really animates your energy. That is usually from a place of passion. So we like to do work from a place of passion, or art from a place of passion, that kind of thing. Okay, really give it. We're almost there. Just keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. Okay, now slow it down and slow the breath down with it. Keep pumping it, but slow it. Remember, don't lose form. Hold on to the form. And as soon as you feel completely relaxed, open the palms about an inch apart from each other. Stay grounded, but stay out here. Yeah, you want to stay out into that area of the field. Okay, try to relax the shoulders. It's going to feel different now. It might feel more intense. It might feel less magnetic. You might feel more energy running. Everyone's different. Work the little circles there as well. So for myself, even right now, because I didn't even really do any of this part with you, for myself, I'm getting all the cracklies, like. So what I mean by cracklies is it feels like you can feel the electrical field out here crackling out like this. It's kind of a neat feeling. But I still have that magnetic charge. But I've been cultivating this for a really long time, so that's why I'm going to feel that as well. Okay, so just feel it out. And again, sensation has a lot to do with it, because the more you can feel the sensation, the more you can identify with it. Okay, now we're going to push into the floor, breathe in and open. And finish off with the hands against each other this way. Now remember, once you get into this one, you don't have to go slow. You can go right into it. And again, if you want to apply the breath of fire with it again, you want to amp it up, you're welcome to. Careful you're not leaning, trying to make sure that you're sinking. You want to stay within that plumb line. Stay grounded with it. Really build it, really build it, really build it. Okay, now let it dissolve really slow, really slow. You might get a little lightheaded with it, that's okay. Sometimes you might go somewhere else with it, that's okay. It brings you back. And then once you feel relaxed, open wherever your hands go, just let them go. Just let it open. And again, don't hold it, let it hold you. Each time you do this, your arms might go to different places even, depending on blockages. But slowly what's happening here is we're helping neural nets to identify where they need to reform. And now we just want to calm the energy, relax, until eventually, once the arms are at the sides, we're just going to turn the palms forward. And today we're going to bring the arms up, coming back like this. And then close the eyes. We're going to relax. Focusing the eyes today on the third eye. Tip of the tongue will be connected to the root of the palate just behind the top front teeth. And you want to just make sure the chin's slightly tucked in. And then we're just going to bring the gaze to the third eye between the brow, so that the eyes are slightly lifted. breathing in, out. And bringing the hands into prayer in alignment with the heart center, and we'll just take a moment to connect to your higher source, whatever that means to you. And closing out. Touching the third eye, heart center, lower dantian. Thank you.
Thank you.